Hello and welcome to the Heart Hook Home Video Crochet Podcast. My name is Ashley, I am your host, and today we are debuting a brand new crochet pattern, the Phoenix Swimsuit Cover-Up that I am modeling today. This is an absolutely stunning swimsuit cover-up pattern that can also double as a pattern to wear over pants or jeans when you go out for date night this summer, and it's absolutely stunning, and it's got this great drape to it. I love the color changes. It's just fabulous. So we're going to learn a little bit more about this Phoenix cover-up today and yarn choices and everything else. So the first thing that I want to share with you about this Phoenix cover-up is that it is a one size pattern with a total bust measurement up to 76 inches, which is a very large bust measurement. Should fit up to at least a 4 or 5XL. If you would like to make it larger, you're just going to simply do another repeat of rows on each side. For this, we are using Rainbow Rhapsody yarn, which is a 60% cotton, 40% acrylic blend yarn. Because this is a swimsuit cover-up, you want to use cotton instead of acrylic or wool or, alpaca or any other fiber. Generally speaking, for swimsuit cover-ups, you also want to make sure that you are using a regular cotton and not a mercerized cotton. We haven't really talked too much about cotton yarns yet, and that is on my list of things to talk about as far as podcasts go, because cotton can be there's so many different kinds of cotton. There's tons of different, there's mercerized cotton, there's the regular cotton, and my point here is that you want to use a cotton that is not mercerized. The mercerized means that it has been treated for strength and durability, which is great when you're making bags and sun hats and things like that. But when it's something that you're going to wear that needs to have a really good drape to it, you don't want something that's going to be too stiff or not be able to breathe well, right? So another thing is, if we're wearing this to the beach or to the pool, we need to make sure that it's going to be nice and light and airy, and it's not going to suffocate us on top of the already stifling heat, right? So let me get up here and show you how gorgeous this cover up is. I've paired it with some white jeans here just because I thought it would look really good setting off these colors. This is the Rainbow Rhapsody yarn, and that is from Hobby Lobby. You could use a different kind of yarn, which we'll get into here in a little bit, as far as yarn substitution choices or other good options for you if you are not local to a Hobby Lobby store. But this is absolutely stunning. Each one of these cakes contains 918 yards, and so what I've done here is I've started at the elbow on both sides and worked my way in, and then I flipped them so that they are mirrored with the yellow touching yellow and the red at the outside like we have here. Absolutely stunning. I love the way that this feels. Feels really great, got this great drape to it. See how that beautiful? Oh, it's just gorgeous. I love it. Now, of course, you could wear this as a swimsuit cover-up. I am wearing a swimsuit underneath this just to show how the way that it would look. I'm not going to take off my pants or anything, but this is a good example of just the way that it just drapes really nicely, and the airflow that is allowed to go through here is just phenomenal. So we do have that total bust of 76 inches, which means that it will fit almost anyone. I typically wear a size medium, and it fits me absolutely perfectly. So we also have some optional embellishments, right? We've got these beads that I sewed to the sides here. They're kind of hard to see, but they're subtle, and they're just enough that you see how this light plays off of them, and it just looks really gorgeous. I also did what is called a lucite fork. I used my lucite fork to make a cord for each size or each side of the cover-up. There is a full tutorial for this on the Heart Hook Home YouTube channel on how to use a lucite fork. And honestly, I've been very surprised at how quickly and how easily I've been able to use this lucite fork. Once I figured it out and once I really nailed down the technique, as shown in the video, it goes so fast because I was contemplating for this cord here. See how I've laced it like a shoelace back and forth, and when you get to the bottom, I've just tied a simple bow, right? And that is it for your sides. And it absolutely goes so fast. I was contemplating using just a crocheted chain and going back, which would be perfectly fine. It would certainly be faster, but you don't necessarily have to do that. Let me show you, another one that I've made with this. I just finished making a crochet lanyard keychain pattern, and that is up on the blog. Let me grab these here. So if you are making a lanyard, this is an excellent tool. This is how I made this one. This one would fit perfectly over, you know, your head if you're going to have your ID hooked on here, if you're going to the gym and you need your badge or anything like that, a nurse's badge, anything like that, it'd be perfect to use in those instances. I also have picked up some of this macrame cord. I noticed that Hobby Lobby just started selling this macrame cord over by the yarn, and they have a black just like this, and I made these lanyards, right? It's part of my car series that I publish the second Friday of every month, and I made these lanyards that are absolutely gorgeous. This is using that macrame cord in the ivory, I think it's ivory colorway. I bought the black because my friend's puppy likes to eat her leash, like a lot, and yeah, she keeps destroying them. So I decided that I was going to buy some of this black macrame cord and make a lucite fork cord for a leash, just to see, because if I can get that, it's $6.99, and then it goes on sale for 30% off quite frequently. So if I'm paying $4.25 or whatever that ends up being for one spool of that macrame cord, that could be a really good dog leash, you know, and it's something that I can whip up super fast, because with the size of this cord, it makes a super, super sturdy, very nice, just, yeah, perfect when you're using the lucite fork. So you could, instead of that, you could do just a regular crochet chain. You could do a Romanian cord, you could do an I cord, or you can choose to not seam up the sides at all. Or you could choose just to sew the sides shut instead of lacing it with the cord, whether that be the lucite fork or the I cord or the crochet chain or anything else. Another part of this pattern that I wanted to share with you is that these are drop loop stitches, right? You can see how tall and beautifully these are created. Aren't those stunning? It's such a slimming design too. Part of what I love about this pattern is that, yes, we are working from the elbow in, but it's technically worked horizontally and then flipped. So it looks very slimming and very stunning when we have these vertical columns. That is something that I shoot for in a lot of my patterns, is just to have these vertical columns where they're nice and straight, nice and tall, they're very slimming, they bring the eye up, and flattering as well, right? So for these drop loop stitches, I did recently publish a tutorial on the Heart Hook Home YouTube channel for these drop loop stitches, and I have had more comments on that video than on a lot of them that I've done recently, and it's amazing to me how many people either love this stitch or have ideas to make it go easier. So personally, when I am making the drop loop stitches, you're going to want to use a dowel rod or a broomstick. I like to put it under one knee like this, under one leg, and over the other, right? So that I can add these loops on there very, very quickly. And then when it's time to knock the loops off the opposite direction, all I do is I flip it like this, and I just knock them off very easily, right? Quick and easy, back and forth, back and forth. It does take some getting used to, I'm not gonna lie, but once you get the hang of it, they go really fast. And one thing that I do love about these drop loop stitches is that they are so tall. So for the vertical columns that we're looking at here, these are single crochet and double crochet. That is it. If you can single crochet and double crochet, you can make this cover up, because these drop loop stitches are essentially just really tall single crochets. So you're putting the loops onto this dowel rod, and then you're knocking them off. And that's basically the only difference. So that is the drop loop stitch. Another thing that I wanted to point out as far as the drop loops go, definitely watch the video tutorial on the Heart Hook Home video or YouTube page and on hearthookhome.com. But something else that I find to be extremely helpful when crocheting this stitch, When you are adding all of these drop loops onto your dowel rod, try to get the entire row on one dowel rod go. You don't want to, if at all possible, like you could have a shorter dowel rod that's only 12 inches long or maybe 18 inches or however long your dowel rod is. Try to fit all of the stitches of the entire row, and you can squeeze them on there pretty well, but try to fit all of them on the dowel rod, because with this very thin yarn, you really don't want to start picking them off the back end or dropping them off. The way that we make these drop loop stitches, if you were to take the dowel rod out before you completed that row, it wouldn't be the end of the world, because the loops do not change in size, right? The way that we add them on. But when you go back to single crochet through those loops, it can be very difficult, number one, to find the loop because the yarn is so thin. You're going to have to crochet or pull up that loop, single crochet into it, pull up the next one, single crochet into it. It's a lot easier if you leave them completely on the rod and then insert your hook under that loop, pull it off, complete the stitch. Insert your hook under the next loop, pull it off, and complete that stitch, and pull them off that way, as opposed to having them, you know, loosey-goosey and just laying there and just picking up the next one and going. Another thing about picking them off with your hook, if you leave them all on the dowel rod, is that the direction of the loops does not change. So you can see here that all of these are going basically the same direction, and you see how that creates this really nice zigzag effect, and that's on all of my drop loop rows, not just one or two. I made sure that I was very consistent with the way that I put the loop on the dowel rod and then on the way that I put it off the dowel rod. And you know, that's for uniformity's sake, but it's also to be really quick with these stitches, because if I didn't have the dowel rod on there, or if I had taken them off the back end before completing that row, it would have taken me forever to complete the drop loop rows. So it's just a hint or a tidbit, take it from me. If you want to do a small piece using this stitch just to practice, as I did in the tutorial for the drop loop stitch, on that one I did do a sample of 20 stitches wide. I did single crochets and I did 20 stitches wide. So if you want to do a teaser or a test run through the drop loop stitch, just make something small like that. I don't know that I'd use it for a washcloth or anything, but if you're just, you know, practicing the stitch to decide if you even want to make this cover up, then that's just a great opportunity to go along with the video tutorial on the YouTube page. So, some yarn substitutions. We are using the Rainbow Rhapsody, which is a 60% cotton, 40% acrylic yarn, and it is a fingering weight yarn. It is a size 1. So if you want to use something else, you could use Comfy Fingering from We Crochet would be an excellent option. If you wanted to use any of the Hobie size 1 fingering cotton blend yarns, they have the best selection of cotton or cotton blend thin weight yarns. I also recommend Lindy Chain from crochet.com would be a good one. That one is it's a mostly linen, actually, linen and cotton blend, but it would work really well because anything linen or cotton is going to be what you want to wear when it's really hot outside, right? I would not use a size 1 wool or fingering weight mohair or anything like that. Definitely try to stick to the cottons or cotton blend. Another yarn that would work really well would be the Premier Cotton Fair, the ones that are sold in the little balls. I know that they are sold at Michael's in person, or most Michael's, I'm not sure about all of them. Definitely check the stock before you head out to buy yours. Or on the Premier website, premieryarns.com. They have a ton of different colors. The thing with that, you're going to either have to choose different colors that you compile together to create this ombre effect, or you're going to have to make it in a solid color, which I think would be absolutely gorgeous as well. So it's not like you're losing out on anything either way. But yeah, definitely choose something that has a cotton or hopefully a majority cotton fiber content, just for the fact that we're going to be hot when we're wearing it, right? We're going into the hottest part of the summer here, at least in Kansas, and I don't want to make it even worse. there is this yarn that I spoke about in my Facebook Live that I did when I published this pattern. And this is Stroll Gradient fingering weight yarn from We Crochet. This is a mostly merino wool, I believe. And it's very nice, and it's a beautiful yarn, and it would make for those beautiful color transitions, just like this Rainbow Rhapsody did. But with the wool content, I wouldn't want to use it for this pattern. If I was using, or if I was making one of these just to wear for date night, or just to wear and not to the pool or the beach, etc., this might work fine for that. But it doesn't necessarily, I wouldn't necessarily use this as my first go-to for this pattern. They do have some beautiful colorways though. If you're only going to wear this out on the town or for date night, etc., then this would work just fine. You know, it would be a little bit warmer, which might be nice on those summer evenings where it gets just a tiny bit chilly, you know, after the sun goes down, give you just a little bit of warmth. That could be an option as well. So if you have any questions on the Phoenix swimsuit cover-up, don't hesitate to shoot me an email. Ask me if you need to change the sizing of it or adjust the gauge, or if you're curious if a certain particular yarn is going to work for this pattern or not. Just shoot me a message and I will be happy to help you with any questions that you do have. Through Monday, June 6th, you're going to want to use the code PHOENIX, which is all caps, Phoenix, like the city in Arizona, and that will take 50% off the pattern on Ravelry, on Etsy, or on the Heart Hook Home blog shop. Yay. So, just a couple more updates before we head off here for today's podcast. I do have July's pattern well underway. So as you know, throughout 2022, my goal is to publish one new pattern at the beginning of every single month. And we are well on pace for that because this is June's pattern. So we had January, February, March, April, May, June, and July is already well on my hook and almost completed and ready to be passed on to you. I'm very excited about that one. I haven't decided when I'm going to do that live video yet, but it will be sometime in the first part of July. And I wanted to share with you because I know that the last time I did a live, I shared with you the picture or the beginnings of this, and I have gotten so much more done. If I can just get situated here, I have gotten so much more done. So you can see that I've started with this bright pink right here, which is absolutely gorgeous. I went to the dark purple, and then I went to orange, and then yellow, and then next I'm going to do this green, and then I'm going to do this blue, and then the body of it will be completely done. All I have left is the sleeves. I've already sent this one off to my testers. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is a longer cardigan, so it's going to go into the mid-calf area, definitely below the knees. There is a petite version that will be about 4 to 6 inches shorter than the full-length version, and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. But the other thing is, if you wanted to make this all in one color instead of the rainbow, of course you can do that. You just won't do any color changes, obviously. And because this pattern is worked from the top down, you can literally stop whenever you're ready. So just keep on crocheting until you get it as long as you want. This is technically, I'm calling it a rainbow duster because it is so long. And once we're done, it is using acrylic yarn, or no, it's not. It's a blend of, let's see, 60% Pima cotton, 40% modal. So it will stretch out just a little bit, just with the sheer weight of the stitches and the fabric pulling it down, it will stretch out a little bit. So it's going to be a legit duster. It's going to be pretty long. So if you're on the shorter side, you might want to, you know, shorten it up to the petite length. And if you do want to make it even shorter, then just shoot me an email and I'll help you decide the overall cardigan length for your rainbow cardi. I haven't had a name for that one yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it, but I am in love with it and I am ready to share that one with you the first week of July, and we are on pace. And I'm already thinking about August. I'm so excited about the things that I have for the rest of the year. I just cannot believe that we're over half the way done. I just can't believe it. So, mind-boggling, right? Halfway through 2022. Unbelievable. So I hope that you love the Phoenix Coverup. I hope that you love it. I hope that you'll make one. Even if you don't use this yarn, it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. Just the way that it hangs and the way that it drapes, it just feels so good. And it's very lightweight, very lovely. Complete one size pattern. Probably fits, I'm gonna say, up to a 4 or 5XL. If you do need help either with your gauge or with adjusting it to make the pattern smaller or larger, just shoot me an email and I will be happy to help. So I am going to go celebrate the Phoenix pattern publication date by having some sushi with my boys, and it's going to be amazing. And I will catch you in 2 weeks when we have the next episode of the Heart Hug Home video crocheting podcast. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.